Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Sam, and I'm joined with
Sab.
Woo!
It's me. I'm Sab.
I was not expecting that energy. Sab. Today I was going to talk about funny, silly little travel stories we got because when did it was Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday the 6th? No. Hold on. No, it was not Tuesday.
No, it was the 7th.
It was the 7th. It was the 7th. It was Monday.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was Monday. It was Monday.
It was Monday. You said Tuesday.
No, I said Tuesday, and then I realized, no, I was literally working on Tuesday. I couldn't have flown back on Tuesday. Monday, I had
It was a long weekend here.
Yeah, it was a long-ass weekend.
No, but it was an actual long weekend, and then it was a long weekend.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, God. But yeah, I had such a fun, funky plane trip, and which then turned into just an overall fun, funky, what the fuck trip. So I was like, we should just talk about silly, funny little trips we've had because I got a story for you guys, that's for sure. But yeah, because I have, I'll just talk about what happened on Monday. So, without doxing myself, I live in the same kind of general city as like Sab. We're kind of in two different cities, but they're neighboring, so we can like see each other whenever.
They're very close. Yeah.
But I live like 4 or 5 hours from my hometown. And so last week, work's been rough. Hours are getting cut. It's the end of the summer. Businesses are like, it's not as busy.
I still can't find a job.
Yeah. Woo! Love the economy.
We out here.
We out here. But last week, I was only scheduled for 2 shifts for a total of like fucking, I don't know, like 17 hours for that week. And I was like, wow, okay.
That's fucked.
No, exactly. And so I messaged my dad being like, because I do some work for my dad on the side as well, just being like, hey, I only got 2 shifts and I need money for rent and stuff. And also because I'm going camping with my friends. We're doing like our yearly camping trip. And that costs a couple $100 to do. And so I was like, August is going to be tight for like money and shit. So I need money. And he was like, well, why don't you just come back home and like sort some of my paperwork for me? And I was like, yeah, I guess I can do that. Because normally the work that I do is like bookkeeping. Like I'll just kind of like input a bunch of data for him and whatever. And I can do that from where I'm living now. But then he also has like physical, like actual like stuff that he has to sort into like certain piles and put away and whatever. And so, so I was expecting just to do bookkeeping, but he was like, why don't you just come and sort the paperwork at home? And I was like, sure. Okay. So I worked one of the 2 shifts that I have, the other one I gave up, and I flew back home. And it was nice. I got to see my family.
Wait, hold on. You gave up and went back home?
No, well, okay, so I had 2 shifts. One of them was on a Tuesday, and the other was on a Friday. And so I was like, I could fly out Wednesday morning and then just get someone else to take my shift and then go work.
I was like, you just gave up.
I just gave up and left. I was like, bye.
I'm like literally picturing you in the middle of a shift. Be like, oh, all right, that's enough of that. I'm leaving.
I'm heading back home. I'm still supposed to be here for another 4 hours, but I'm going to leave now because I want to. Bye. Yeah. But I went back home and I saw my family, and it actually kind of worked out because it was my mom's birthday over the weekend. So nice. I got to like hang out with her for her birthday and all that stuff like that. And then I was scheduled to fly back on August 7th, which is Monday night. Which I also found out the day before that we were supposed to get like between 35 to 50 millimeters of fucking rain.
And it rained a lot, bro. It rained a lot.
I was like, I thought like, I'm like, this is the beginning of Noah's Ark. Just fucking like flash.
It was real, like sidebar, but like I was at my brother's house, which is like an hour away from me, and they live in a rural area, and holy shit, I don't think I've ever seen rain that much.
Yeah,
Like I couldn't see through it.
it's
There was so much rain.
crazy. And for all of our listeners that use like, is it what's the like what is the inches and feet called? Is it imperial?
I don't know. I don't care about what Americans say.
For all of our listeners
No.
that measure in feet and inches, it was like forecasting about 2 inches of rain, which is like it's a lot. Like that is a
I would say it's a
lot.
lot. It's pretty average. It's pretty average.
We had to throw a size joke in there somewhere. But yeah, so it was calling for a lot of rain throughout the whole day. It rained a bit in the morning and then it just stopped. And so I was like, great, this is not looking good for me who is flying back at night when all this rain is supposed to be coming. So
And also, Sam has a fear of thunderstorms.
yes, I am horrible in thunderstorms. Lightning scares the shit out of me. And I think this is just my anxiety that does this, but like if it's raining and the forecast doesn't even call for thunderstorms, my brain's still like, there's gonna be lightning. Like, oh, gotta get on the roof, you know. So I have a bad fear of thunderstorms, and I also have a fear of dying. Wow. So like mixing thunderstorms in an airplane and then like fly, you know, it wasn't a great concoction that was working out for me there. But so before I even leave my house to get to the airport, I'm already getting like alerts that my plane's delayed. And so the delay was only like 20 minutes, half hour-ish. Like it wasn't anything crazy. And like I was kind of expecting a little bit of delay because like last summer there was really, really bad plane delays because of like everyone wanted to go back and travel because restrictions started to lessen for COVID. And like different airlines weren't prepared for this sudden boost in like people traveling, even though it was numbers below that of pre-COVID. But airlines weren't ready for that, so a lot of airlines are really understaffed. And so I know last summer, because I went to Minnesota last summer and experienced like really bad delays, a lot. What the hell? You know what? No, I'm exposing Sap on the podcast right now. I'm explaining my story, and I see I get a notification on Discord, and Sap just sent me a freaking dick in Discord.
It's about 2 inches, I think. If you measure it on your phone or something.
Yeah. It's not to scale.
Sorry.
This is such a horrible.
You're gonna put a screenshot in the message.
Maybe depends on how I'm feeling if I want to edit that much in or not.
Sorry, continue.
Oh God, what was I saying? Okay, a lot of airlines are understaffed because they weren't expecting that sudden boom in like traveling and stuff, and so we're still like a lot of airlines are still like dealing with like delays even now from like the sudden boom in travel, and so like there being a half-hour delay didn't really surprise me. So I got there about an hour, I would say or I didn't get there about an hour, but I got through security and I had about an hour before my flight, which like before I go through security, I'm always like, yay, I'm glad I'm this early, I don't have to stress. And then I get through security in like 15 minutes and I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? I'm just gonna sit around, do nothing, my phone's gonna fucking die, like what do I do now? So I went and I sat down at my gate, realized I wanted water, got up, some group of like 5 people fucking took my spot, and I was like, fuck, okay.
Rude.
No, exactly. What the frig? That was her. So I just went exploring, whatever. And so I went and sat down, and then I get a notification on my phone that my plane has been delayed by another hour. So I was supposed to depart at 7:55 p.m. It gets pushed back to about 8:20. And then I get another alert saying that we're going to leave at like 9:15. And I was like, fuck, this is annoying. It is like 6:45 right now. And I have to wait here until 9 p.m. before I can even like I'm supposed to be arriving back here at the time that I'm actually leaving now. So I'm like, well, this is annoying, but it is what it is. I can't really do much about it. So I wait. I call like some of my internet friends, and I was just kind of fucking around with them in Discord, whatever. And so I get on the plane, and the plane is actually like pretty empty. A lot of the front of the plane was like packed, but like where I was sitting back in economy, because I'm a broke bitch, I had a whole row to myself. I was like, fuck yeah, this is great. It was like 2 rows of 3. And so I got a window seat because I think if the plane is empty, they usually put people at the window seat just to help balance it out. But I had like a whole row to myself. At least I thought I did. Some lady walked in, put her bags in my section, and then sat behind me, and then moved forward and sat in my row. There was a seat between us, so I still had space. But I was kind of like, I don't know where you're supposed to be sitting, but like, this is my row, lady, leave. She didn't leave, but I was like, get out. I'm claiming this row. She's just mine now. It's my territory, motherfucker. And so we're sitting down, and 9:15 comes, and we haven't fucking moved. And I was like, huh, okay. What's happening? And so then the captain goes onto the intercom, and he's like, hey, guys. Awkward news. Hey, besties. How's it going? No, he was like, hey, guys. We're having a technical issue, and we're trying to resolve it. So we can't leave the airport until, this technical issue is resolved, because you can't really fly if your plane's not fucking working.
That would have been awful for you, right?
Yeah, I was already anxious. Yeah, I was already so anxious, and he's like, yeah, we're having a technical issue. And I was like, this plane's gonna fucking go down. I feel it. And the worst part of it was that, like, that same day, like, earlier that day, I had a shower. And you know how sometimes, like, actually, no, maybe not everyone will relate to this, but at least for me, sometimes if I just think too much, the intrusive thoughts, like, kind of worm their way in, and then I just freak myself out. So, like...
I feel that.
So,
yeah.
This doesn't scare everyone, but it scares me. I was like, what happens after you die? And then I just started sending myself into a fucking panic. This happened to me while I was in the shower, by the way. And so in the shower, I was just like, I need to stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about what happens after you die.
Existential crisis.
No, for real.
In but the shower.
Yeah, in the shower of all places. But I haven't, like, that hasn't happened to me at least recently until then. And so now I'm on a plane that's having technical issues, and I was like, oh God, what if my brain was trying to, like, warn me of something?
I was predicting my own death.
No, exactly. I was like, I haven't thought about dying in so long, and now I just did, and now the plane's going to shit. Like, what is... So that, my anxiety was through the roof. So, like, 15-20 minutes go by, and we get another update, and nothing's changed. And so now I'm like, it's like 9:45 p.m. I'm sitting in this fucking airplane, and I'm like, holy fuck, when are we gonna go? But, like, I'm chilling. Like, I just turned on my data again, and I just got him to call my friends, and I was just hanging out, and I was like, whatever. I was like, it is what it is. Like, I can't do anything to change this. I might as well just kind of hang out. But the lady beside me, now, I like to try not to judge people, because, like, I wouldn't want to be judged, so why should I judge others, right? But, like, I kind of was like, I'm getting a bit of a read. Only because she came in, and it's like, it's not cold outside, but, like, it's not nice either. But she sits down, and she's wearing, like, a sundress, and I'm like, I mean, wear what you want to wear, but I would be a little cold in the sundress. But then the thing that stood out to me was the Gucci slides.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm getting a bit of a read from the Gucci slides. And lo and behold, she was being a dick to, like, the stewardess. Like, the stewardess, is that what you call them? I don't know. The people on the plane. And she was like, what is happening? She's like, I'm trying to get, like, home. Like, I need to get home. And then the lady was like, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, but, like, We can't leave until this problem's solved. And so she just starts like sighing loudly, and I'm like, girl, please, like, you like
I hate people like that, man.
I know.
I understand being stressed out and being like pretty like pissed off that like you're delayed by hours.
Yeah.
I get that, but like everyone's trying to get somewhere, right?
No,
like
exactly.
you're not the only there's do you want to fly in a plane that is having technical issues? I don't fucking think so.
And literally there was a guy sitting the row in front of us who was worried because he had a connection flight to go to Dublin. Dublin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he missed it because we were there for a while. But, like, he wasn't sighing and making a huge deal, you know? I was like, lady, please. Like, you and your Gucci slides need to calm down a second. Because, like, what the fuck? And so, yeah. So I'm low-key freaking out, but I'm just keeping to myself. And then... like a half hour goes by, still nothing. And then at like 10 p.m., the captain's like, hey, we restarted the fucking computer on the plane and that seems to fix the issue. So now we just have to do paperwork, I guess, because something was wrong with the plane. So they had to like, whatever, fill out something. And then he's like, we're going to do the pre-flight checks and then we should be good to go. This will take us maybe 25 to 30 minutes. And I was like, great, okay. I was supposed to be back home by now. I am still on this plane. Fuck, okay. So I'm like, whatever, okay. Half hour goes by. We're good. We take off. I was supposed to leave the airport at 7:55. Like, my plane was supposed to depart at 7:55. We departed at like 10:30. Gross. So that was, it was not fun. But get in the plane, there's a bit of turbulence. It's nothing too crazy. Not as worse as I was expecting, at least, because it was the clouds are pretty thick and it was raining. But we go up in the air, it's fine. Land, everything's chill. I'm like, cool, okay. I
can't wait for this next part.
I'm so excited. I'm like, cool, okay, like, I'm back home. The hardest part is over. So I go, I grab my luggage, I'm doing my thing, I'm happy to get home. It's like 11:30 when I land. The luggage took fucking forever, but it's fine. At midnight, I have my luggage and I'm heading towards the taxis. And so originally I was going to just get an Uber because it was like, I'm like, it's cheap, whatever. But then I was like, I don't like trying to coordinate meeting up with the Uber. Like there's a taxi service. Like the taxis are already here. Like I can just grab a taxi. I don't have to coordinate with the Uber to figure out where the fuck I am in this massive airport. Like I'll just grab a taxi and go. And the main reason why, I don't like taking taxis, one, because I had a bad experience with one over Christmas. I was trying to take a taxi home in this really bad snowstorm, which, by the way, was thundering and lightning during the fucking snowstorm.
That was insane. I remember that. That was fucking crazy.
Terrifying. And I'm outside of a freaking train station trying to get a taxi. It's like lightning strikes like fucking 50 feet from me, and I'm like, I please take me home. I'm gonna have a panic attack.
Nightmares, bro.
Yeah. And I asked the taxi, I'm like, hey, I only have card. Do you take card? Motherfucker rolled up the window on me. So then I went to another taxi driver and was like, do you take card? And he was like, yeah, sure, get in the car. And
the guy just rolled up the window, didn't say anything, just rolled up the window?
He just rolled up the window because he only wanted cash. Yeah, like he called me over, he was like, you need a taxi? And I was like, yeah, but I only have card. And then he just rolled up his window and I was like, fuck you, dude.
That's a terrible way to do customer service, man.
Exactly. And so ever since then, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to take taxis. I've had like a couple bad experiences with taxis. Like, I don't want to. And so I was like, okay. I messaged my roommate because he'd used the taxis from the airport before. My roommate was like, yeah, they take cards. So I was like, okay. We're going to take a taxi. And so I get in line because there's a couple people before me. And one of the taxis pulls up and then one of the guys working at the airport was like, here, you can go in this taxi. And I was like, okay, cool. And the driver was really nice. Like, he took my bag for me. He opened the door for me, which I was like, "Thank you. You don't have to do this. Like, I'm not some like."
Gentleman.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm like, I'm not like, I don't know. I always feel bad when like people
Yeah.
like, not just in general, but like taxi drivers, for example, like open the door for me because I'm like, no, wait, like you're just driving me. That's all I'm expecting. Like, stop.
Yeah.
It's fine. And he was like, so where are you going? And so I give him my address, and I guess because the taxis at the airport, I guess, are more used to just driving people to like hotels in the area. So I was like, this address across the city. So he had to pull up his phone and put it in. And so we're driving, everything's chill, it's not too bad. I'm a little anxious just because he's like driving really stiffly. Like, the best way I could describe it, and people who drive might also understand what I mean, is like his hands were really close together at the top of the wheel. And so like when he was driving, his hands would like shake and the car would like swerve a bit. And I was like, dude, please, like, just relax. Like,
relax, bro.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I can't blame him. Fucking driving in Toronto. Jesus
and that's
Christ.
the thing. That's the thing. I'm like, if I was a taxi driver, I'd also be fucking like, well, first of all, I wouldn't, because I don't want to be driving all around Toronto like that, because that, But like,
Fuck that.
yeah. But, what's it called? Yeah, so like, I understand, but also I was like, dude, please, like, you're making this worse for yourself. And so we're driving, and I feel like he was driving like that because his sight wasn't that great, because he was kind of like leaning forward, and like sometimes he'd squint, so I was like, whatever. As long as you get me home, we're fine.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really feel like he was speeding. Like, it felt like he was going a normal, like, speed, whatever. But there was a couple times where he'd take his phone off the dashboard and kind of look at where we at, which I'm like, yeah, okay, understandable. He didn't have a stand for his phone. But we're driving down the road, and we pass this intersection, and then all of a sudden there's sirens. and then my taxi driver freaks out. He's like, oh, no. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? Like,
he for sure had a body in the trunk, bro. This man.
Probably.
He's so scared for what?
And so he starts freaking out, and I was like, what the fuck? I was peacefully listening to music on my phone, like, what the fuck is happening? And then he pulls over. And that's when I realized that this fucking taxi driver just got caught by the cops, and they're pulling him over with me in the fucking back seat. And I had already said goodnight to my parents, because I was like, yep, I've landed, I'm in a car, I'm heading home, good night. And my parents were like, good night. My roommates were like going to sleep, whatever, but I fucking messaged everybody, and I was like, my taxi got pulled over. And my favorite reaction to that was that let me see if I can find the message, because I have a group chat with both of my parents. And so my dad, like, the message is, my dad was like, okay, I'm going to bed now, I have to get up early, glad you made it okay. I said, sounds good, good night. He said, good night, love you. And I said, love you too. And then the next message is me in all caps saying, my taxi got pulled over by the cops. And that is 10 minutes after I sent the love you too message, to which my mom said, what the fuck? And my dad was also like, what the fuck? What for what? What did he get pulled over for? So I'm sitting in the backseat of this taxi, just like awkwardly, like, what do I do? Like, I'm not in trouble, but like, I'm in the taxi of a guy who just got pulled over by the cops. I'm awkwardly sitting here. It's almost 1 a.m. Like, I want to go home. And so the cop comes up, and he was like, I'd like license registration, please. I was like, oh fuck.
Did he have a mustache?
I couldn't see the cop's face. Like, the cop was tall enough that, like, I couldn't see him from where I was sitting. But, like, the taxi driver's panicking, and the taxi driver's like, yeah, like, here's my license. And he's like, this is my first time. This is my first time being pulled over. And the cop was like, all right, chill. And then the taxi driver had to pull up like his insurance card on his phone or something and gave it to the police, whatever. Police take it, walk back, and he's like, "I'm sorry," and I was like, "It's fine, it's whatever, it's fine." Like, I'm not judging the guy, but I'm just like, I'm please get me home. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. That's it. I don't want to be.
I just want to be. I don't want to be.
I don't want to be. I want to cease to exist right now. And then the cop comes back over and he was like, "Are you aware that you were speeding?" And I was like, "You pulled this guy over for speeding?" Like, no offense, like, the city we live in, the traffic, like, people speed here all the time, whatever, but, like, what? So I was like, okay. Like, I thought he was gonna get pulled over for being on his phone, because he was looking at his phone when the sirens went off, so I was like, oh, this is really fucking awkward. But no, it was just speeding. And then the cop gives him his ticket, and the taxi driver's like, "Please, like, this is my first time getting pulled over. Like, please, like, we don't have, like, you don't have to give me a ticket." And the dude's like, "I already issued it, so, like, it's a little too late for you to be, like,"
Too late.
Yeah, "it's a little too late for you to be, like, trying to change what just happened." But then,
get fucked, bro.
no, literally, the cop was like, L, I guess? Like, and then the taxi driver's like, "Where's the amount? Where's the amount?" And so I'm sitting in the back of his car as this taxi driver's basically interrogating the police officer on how to figure out how much his ticket was. His ticket was for like $135.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, "What
economy?"
No, exactly. And so I'm like, what? Like, what? Okay. And so the police officer lets him go, and I'm just sitting in the back seat. Like, I was supposed to be home at 10 p.m. at the latest. It is 1 a.m. My plane was delayed by 3 hours. My taxi got pulled over by the fucking cops. Like, what the fuck? And then we pull into my driveway and I'm like, cool, great. I'm going to pay for the taxi now. And I don't know if he left the meter running or not, but my taxi, like, the ride was $66.
Holy fucking shit. Are you serious?
Yeah. If I took an Uber, it would have been half the price.
Wait. Type in the chat which airport this was.
See, this is the thing. It's far. So that's why I'm like, it could be.
Really?
And that's the thing, because my dad messaged me being like, hopefully you didn't leave the meter running, and I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, while he was getting
pulled over.
Ticket?
Yeah. And so I was like,
That's
I didn't fucking think about that. And I couldn't check, because he was in the driver's seat. I was sitting in the back seat behind the passenger seat, and the meter was, like, not in the passenger seat, but like it was in front of it. But he had the passenger seat kind of folded forwards to give me more leg room. But in doing so, that hid the meter. So I couldn't see if he stopped it or not. And
oh my god, I just checked. It is half the price. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's half the price for an Uber. And I was like, huh? And so I had my roommates being like, he definitely left the meter on, like, you should call the company. And then I had my mom being like, well, when I flew in, like, not too long ago, like, it was about the same price for that. And I was like, ugh! Like, what?
Yeah, but, like, that's a lot of money.
No, exactly.
For us, that's a lot of money.
No, exactly. For us, that's a lot of money. And I was like, bro. And so I felt kind of bad, but I kind of, like, I only tipped him 10% rather than 15%. And to be fair, I was like, I'm like 90% sure you left the meter running, but also, like, you did get pulled over by the cops while you were driving me home. Yeah. So I think a lower tip wasn't completely unwarranted, but then after I did it, I was like, oh, I feel a little bad. But you know what?
I always feel bad.
And that's the thing. I'm like most of the times if I tip lower, like, I still try and tip good, especially if the service was good. But if the service wasn't great and I tip a little lower, I still kind of feel bad, but I'm also like, I don't have that much money. I'm giving you what I can. So, but yeah, and so that's the thing. And so I'm like, the guy was nice to me, and he was nice, dude, but also, like, you got pulled over by the cops while you were driving me home, dude. Like, I don't know. But yeah, that was my insane Monday night, and I worked the next day. And so when I woke up the next morning, I was like, I'm so tired. I don't want to go to work. did it anyways, but now we're here, and I don't know. I just think that story is so funny because
It's
everything
pretty
that
good.
could have went
Went
wrong.
wrong. Yeah.
So
It's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
but what? Because I remember when I messaged you being like, I'm gonna talk about my crazy plane story. And I was like, if you have any funny travel stories, you could tell them. And I know I brought up like ones that you've told me before, but what is a funny travel story that you want to talk about, Sab?
I don't know if I have like a funny travel story.
Or I
I've
guess
legitimately like I've been to Ottawa and I've been to Montreal and I've been to BC, but I wasn't old enough to
to
remember
remember,
that.
yeah.
um
And I guess when I
I
say
mean
funny, I mean more of like not like
interesting, like something that's like
yeah.
out of the
Yeah,
ordinary.
like your plane being delayed for 3 hours and getting pulled over by the fucking cops. Like something that's like funny
Yeah.
to look back on in a way.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I have a fun story. No, it's not fun. It wasn't fun for me. In Ottawa. So earlier this year, I went to Ottawa with my brother, my sister-in-law, and two of their friends because they were going to a festival, and they just got a puppy. So I was looking after the puppy while they were at the festival because he couldn't be alone, right?
Hmm.
One night it was me, my brother, and the two friends. My sister-in-law was upstairs, and we were uh I think I think the last cigarette was smoked. Like I think that was the last one that was being smoked. And this homeless guy came up to us. And we were in by the way, we were in the sketchiest area I've ever been in. Like Toronto has its fair share of like very sketchy areas, a lot of drug use, a lot of homeless people, but I'm not kidding when I say this. I've never seen it this bad. That
Hmm.
was in Ottawa.
Yeah.
So this guy, he came up to us. He was either drunk or on something, and he was like, "Please, can I have a cigarette or and food?" And we're like, "Sorry, man, sorry, bud. Like we don't have any left, right?" And then he immediately turned hostile.
Oh.
He was screaming at us. He was like, "Fuck you guys! I hope all of you get murdered and all like just these horrible things." And then my brother and his friend were like, "You two go inside."
Yeah.
So me and Remy, we were going upstairs, and I said to her, "I'm like, should I close the door or should I like leave it open in case they need to like escape or something?" And all I hear is this guy like straight up threatening us, being like, I hope when you go upstairs you die of food poisoning, and I hope all these horrible things happen to you."
Oh my
It was really
god.
scary, and my brother and
Damn.
his friend were just like, "Yeah, whatever, bud. Like, fuck you, man. Like, whatever." And then they
Hmm.
came inside. It was actually really scary, though.
No, honestly,
Um,
like I haven't had run-ins like that often, but when it does happen, you're like, oh fuck, like I'm going, like this dude's going to murder me. Cause like I had
oh
a
yeah,
dude one time, and I was like, I was just coming home from work, and I was walking up like the bus station, and I was leaving, and this dude was like yelling at me. And he like was
yeah,
yelling and screaming, and he was clearly like not in the right headspace, but still,
hmm
it's still scary. And
yeah,
and then he like was, yeah, he was just screaming at me, and he crossed the street and he walked away, but he like flipped me off, and all I did was like we just got off at the same station, like that's all that
yeah,
happened. And I was like, what the fuck, like what, jeez, like hello, like what the fuck, I did nothing.
yeah.
And so like now I'm like, yeah, whatever, but like in the moment it's fucking scary, it's terrifying.
It's very terrifying. I have another story from Ottawa. Um, it was the I think it was the night that we got there. Actually, they went to the festival for about like 3 4 hours, then they came home,
Hmm.
and then so me, my brother, and Shaq, the friend, we they decided that we were gonna go get shawarma, and it was like a 10-minute walk, I think.
Hmm.
And so we took Whiskey with us, the dog, if you don't know. It's the dog.
The dog's
His name
name
is
is
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
So we went to go get shawarma, and then the place was fucking packed. It was like, to be fair, like for good reason, it was really good shawarma.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so we were like, oh fuck, okay, we'll wait outside, and then it sent my brother in with the order, right? And then we had to go to the convenience store to get um some stuff, and then we went to the convenience store. I had whiskey. I stayed outside. I wish I didn't,
Yeah,
but
I
I
was about to
did because
say.
I had a dog,
Yeah.
right? So Shaq went inside, and Shaq, by the way, is like this gigantic dude. Like he's like, I don't know how tall he is, but he's like 6'4" at
Oh my
least.
god, Jesus.
He's fucking huge, bro.
Yeah.
So he went inside, and he was getting all the stuff that he needed to get, and I was standing outside with Whiskey. And Whiskey was a very small puppy at that point,
Mm.
and again, sketchy area. So there were two men in front of me, and they were like really close to each other, and they were like whispering to each other and looking at me and then whispering to each other,
Oh.
and then they were getting closer to me, and I
Ew.
was like, oh, I don't know what's happening. I looked around. There's another guy to my right who was basically getting closer to me too, and to my left.
What the fuck?
So I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Shaq needs to hurry the
We fuck
fuck
up.
up.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small puppy with me, and I'm literally dressed in like in my PJs. I'm in my PJs. So
Yeah.
I don't exactly look very adult or scary
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
Yeah, and you didn't
Um
have the
I,
scary dog privileges because Whiskey was
no,
still
I didn't, because
small.
Whiskey was such a baby. He was
Yeah.
so small. Um so I'm like, oh my god, Shaq needs to come out like right the fuck now. I don't know what to do. I don't, I'm panicking. I don't know what to do. So I'm standing there and like just like ready to fucking like fight someone if I need to.
Yeah.
And then Shaq comes out. He comes up to me, like we're looking at the stuff that he got, and like the everyone that was like getting close to me started walking away.
Ew.
Like I
Ugh.
don't know what was gonna happen in that moment, but
Yeah.
that is fucked up.
That is fucked. What the fuck?
I was so scared. I didn't even say anything. I was so scared. I made myself nauseous. We got back to the shawarma place. My brother was like the line hadn't moved.
Mm-hmm.
I was like freaking out. I was like, okay, okay, whatever. This is fucked. I was talking to Shaq. I'm like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah.
He's like, what? He's like, are you okay? I'm like, I feel like really nauseous, and
Mm-hmm.
I, yeah, I don't feel good. He's like, you want to go see if they had a bathroom? I went inside, couldn't find the bathroom. Went back outside. I was still like, oh, this is fucked up. This homeless lady came up. She's like, I know where the bathroom is. I can show you. And then so she showed me, and it was downstairs. And I'm like, I can't do stairs right now. She's like, okay, we'll just take you outside. It's fine. Get some air,
Uh-huh.
right? And then I was like, I'm gonna throw up. And then
Yeah.
Shaq was like, "There's an alley right here. Like, let's take you to the alley." And then I threw up on the side of the building.
Oh no.
I
Oh
threw up on
no.
the side of the building.
But like if I was in your situation, I would have cried. Like afterwards, like once the guys
Yeah,
left, I would have cried. Cause like what the fuck? What the
yeah.
fuck? That
I,
is ugh.
I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with this. I didn't even tell them. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone what happened either.
Oh my
They have
god.
no idea unless they listen to this.
This,
But
yeah.
yeah, so I threw up on the side of the building. My brother came out. I was like, hey, and he's like, what happened to you? I'm like, I threw up. And he's like, what? Why'd you throw up? I'm like, I don't know. Let's go back home.
Yeah.
So we went home. And I was like, this is stupid. I need to smoke a J or something. I don't know. It was bad.
I need
Yeah.
to chill the fuck out. No, but that's honestly like I at least from what I remember, I've never been in a position where it was like these group of dudes are clearly trying to fucking do something, whether it's like
Yeah.
attack me or like jump me and try and rob me. Like something is I've never been in the position where I'm like something is clearly going to fucking happen if like whoever I'm with doesn't come back. So I can only
Hmm.
imagine how fucking terrified you were. Because
I
like
was so scared, man.
the neighborhood that I grew up in, once again, not to dox myself, but like the neighborhood that I grew up in, like there was a lot of sketchy parts that I like realized as
Yeah.
I got older. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sketchy, but
Yeah.
like overall, a lot of the people that like my family surrounded us with like weren't sketchy, and so a lot of my experiences like weren't like that.
Yeah.
But like, oh, I would have been terrified. I would have been fucking shitting bricks. But the your shawarma story reminded me of something else. When was this? This was like 2 weeks ago, I think. All of my roommates and I we were like, or most of my roommates and I, we were all like kind of back home, and so we were like, oh, let's go do let's go do a fun little escape room and like have a fun little night. And so we went out and we did an escape room. It was a lot of fun. We solved it with like 15 minutes left. I was like, oh shit,
Nice.
okay, like cool. And then afterwards we hadn't really eaten anything, so like, okay, let's go like get pizza. And so this was a Saturday night that we did this. So, and we were downtown, so it was pretty busy. And so we just went to this pizza place. We ordered pizza. It was going to take a bit to cook, so we went to a dispensary, got some weed, and then came back to grab our pizza. Nice. And so my roommate goes in, and our pizzas actually were finished just as my roommate walked in. He walked in, and then she was like, oh, what pizzas are you waiting for? And he was like, oh, like these ones. And then a cook literally rounded the corner with the boxes and was like, here you go. And my roommate was like, oh, okay. Like,
nice.
Cool. But we were outside just kind of waiting for my roommate to come back. And so he came back, handed us each our pizzas, and we're getting ready to start walking back to the subway station. And these, like, it was a group of 3, like, girls about, like, our age, I would say. Maybe a little older. Like, I'd say, like, maybe, like, mid to late 20s. Like, walk by. And they're all dressed in pink. And so I was like, oh, they just saw the Barbie movie. Which is what they did. And I find that funny, actually, now thinking about it. That I'm like, if I see someone dressed in all pink, I'm like, oh, they went to see the Barbie movie. They could just be wearing pink for fun. Yeah. But I'm like, no, they went to go see the Barbie movie. But they actually did. So they were talking about the movie, and they were just walking down the street, minding their business, and then this fucking, like, SUV rolls up, and the traffic wasn't horrible, but, like, it was a red light, so they were slowing down, and I'm like, I don't see the car right away, but I can hear just the music being blasted out of it. And, like, don't get me wrong, when I drive, I like to play my music and have just, like, a fun little time. Like, if I'm in a car by myself, I love to just, like, play music. If I have the windows down, I'll still play it, but I won't be blasting it out of the speakers. And so, sure. I enjoy a good car ride with music, but, like, these are clearly the kind of people that are just being, like, absolute douchebags. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I hear these two male voices just start yelling. And I was like, okay, what the fuck is happening? And so I look to my left, and there's a car of, like, 4 guys. And the 2 guys in the back seat are clearly, like, drunk or just, I don't know, either drunk or acting like a fucking idiot. But, like, they looked drunk. And they start fucking yelling at the girls who just walked by us. And they're like, oh, did you just see the Barbie movie? And they're like, how was that? And they were, like, mocking them. And the girls were like, okay, what the fuck? And then they were trying to get the girls to rate them, like, in attractiövness.
What?
Yeah!
Straight up, I hate the city, man. I hate
like,
people.
They
were people in the city, man.
They were, like, catcalling them. Like, I say catcalling. Like, they were kind of commenting, like, at their appearance, but they're mostly, like, mocking the fact that they were dressed in all pink. And they're like, rate us. And the girls were like, no.
0.
And then they just kept...
0.
They kept... No, exactly. Literally 0. But if you can go into the negatives, you're going into the negatives. Like, you are the ugliest people I've ever met just because you're complete assholes. And so they drive down the street, and they're still yelling at them. And then after they get a certain distance, they start yelling at other people in the sidewalks. And it's just like, like I felt so bad for those girls because literally, okay, the Barbie movie, without any spoilers, it is definitely a social commentary on, like, just being a woman growing up in, like, a man's world. And, like, some people can argue that being like, oh, it's not a man's world, like, equality, but it's like, there are, like, disadvantages to being a woman in, like, certain aspects of this society. And it's shitty, but, you know, like, it's happened. It's still happening. And so, like, this is so shitty that these women went to go see the Barbie movie. It's an uplifting, fucking hilarious movie that kind of talks about feminism as a whole, as in, like, women deserve the equality as men, and men deserve to be treated well. You know, like, some people are pushing the Barbie movie as, like, a, like, women have to rule the world and that's equality. But no, like they also talked about
That's
how
so
like
stupid. Yeah.
yeah, like men's mental health and shit like that. It's just it's a good movie to watch and it accurately represents or I don't know if I should say accurately represents feminism, but it's just a good movie. It's a good movie. And it's uplifting for a lot of people, men, women, non-binary. It's just overall great. And so
Yeah.
they just saw this movie, had a great time, and then these fucking assholes come by and start catcalling them. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
what the
pretty
fuck?
ironic,
That's
right?
yeah.
Like
I'm
having
like
to deal with that right after seeing
having
something that was like such a powerful message.
yeah, no, exactly. And I was like, what the fuck? And so like they were okay, they kind of brushed it off, but like I felt so bad because I could see that they were clearly uncomfortable like even after the
Yeah.
guys left. And I was like, really, like why are
I don't
people
I don't
like
I don't understand the need to go out of your fucking way to yell at people from your fucking car.
yeah.
People you don't know, like, rate me? Shut the fuck
Fuck
up,
up.
bro.
Yeah.
Shut
No,
the fuck up, man.
the only thing I can think of is that that dude must be so insecure that he's
Well, yeah,
doing shit
obviously.
like that.
He's
And I'm like,
asking people to rate him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Fucking insecure.
and I'm like, yeah, like this is just embarrassing for you because you look pathetic. Like,
Yeah.
you look really pathetic. And so that's why I'm like, I hope those three girls, if imagine they're fucking listening, that'd be wild. But I hope
That'd be
those
awesome.
three girls had a great rest of their night, and I hope that those douchebags didn't ruin it for them. Because also they looked great in their freaking all dressed in all pink. They were killing it. But yeah, and so that's why I was like you talking about like obviously it's very different circumstances, but I was just like,
Yeah.
man, what is up with just people being douchebags? What the fuck? Like,
It's
stop.
unsafe out here, man.
It's unsafe out here.
It's unsafe out here.
And it, why can't
It's fucked
everyone
up.
just be nice? And that's the thing. Like I don't consider myself a great person. Obviously, everyone has their moments where you can be nice, and you have moments where you're like, I hate the world. But like, there's no need to do some of the shit that people do.
There's like it doesn't take a lot of energy to be a decent fucking human being.
No, exactly. And that's why I'm like
It takes way less energy to be a decent human being than
yeah.
it is to be a shitty human being.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing, like I was talking about it with some of my coworkers at work yesterday. I was like, I will never be rude to a customer right off the bat because I have no reason to be.
Yeah.
But like if a customer comes up to me and starts treating me like shit, then I'm not going to be nice to them because I like not that it takes effort, but like I don't have the patience for that, and I'm going to treat people how like if they want to treat me like shit, then they
and
can
the
get
energy that they bring, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I
Like
get that.
my kind of motto with like work in general kind of like because when I was like a line cook, I would get in trouble for like putting too much of this or putting too much of that, like especially like on pizzas I'd get in trouble for like putting too much cheese, and I was like, hey man, I just kind of put the amount of cheese that I would love to have on a pizza. Not that like not saying my standard is the standard for everything, but more of like, you know, like I want a cheesy pizza, and like these people want a pizza, I'm gonna put a little more cheese than I should because I think it looks nice with more cheese. And it's the same thing with like with the retail work I do now. Like I am going to treat people how I would like to be treated because I would like to be treated nicely. But if they're not going to be nice to me even after I'm nice to them, then I'm not going to return the favor, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't yeah.
I get the whole like kill them with kindness that, like, I understand that, but like you also have to understand that not everyone's gonna respond to kindness,
Yeah.
and that's something that you need to figure out.
Yeah.
Like if like they aren't gonna respond to kindness, and that's whatever. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like
Sure, like most of the time, like try. Like, it's not like you just
yeah.
go straight to being a dick to them.
Yeah.
Try.
And that's the thing. Like I like obviously like I said, I don't consider myself a great person because I'm not like the fucking holy grail of like I am nice to people. I'm not a dick unless I'm given a reason to be, really, is the thing.
Which I feel like most people
Yeah.
Like no one's like the greatest fucking person ever.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, like I like in the nicest way possible, I really don't think there is like a good person. I think there's really bad people, but I don't think there's anyone necessarily good because in
No
my
one's
eyes a
inherently
good
good.
yeah, and I'm like in my
Yeah.
eyes a good person like what I think is a good person to someone else, they could have done something like to me someone that I could think is a good person to you might not be. So that's why I'm like
Yeah, it's
what
all
is a good
subjective
person?
as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So that's why I'm like I'm not a shitty person. I try to be the least judgmental and the like like be nice to people because like there's no reason to be mean to them. But also
Hmm.
like there are days where I'm like I can try and kill them with kindness or just kind of like brush it off. But there are some days
Yeah.
where I'm like no, I don't have the patience to try and be nice and be like customer servicey towards you. Like, if you're gonna be mean
Yeah.
to me, I'm just gonna tell it to you straight, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I also just don't understand how like obviously like I've worked in retail too. Like
mhm.
it's ridiculous how people truly believe that they can treat you like shit
No, I know.
for
That's
doing your
something.
fucking job.
That's the thing I'll never understand. And there's been times where like I'll be in the car with like my parents or like someone who's like older and like there's been times love my mom for preference, but there's been times where like we're at a drive-through and the lady like mishears my mom a couple of times, and so my mom will kind of turn to me and give me a look, and I'll be like, "Mom, they're getting paid minimum wage. Like, you do not need to
Yeah.
do this."
And also, have you worked a fucking drive-through? The mics are shit,
The mics are
eh?
shit. The mics are
The
shit.
mics are
Yeah,
shit. I hated working drive-through. Half the time I was like, fuck, what if I can't hear what they say?
yeah, and
What
that's
am I
the
gonna do?
thing.
I
Yeah.
have fucking ear damage because I never go to concerts wearing earplugs and shit. And I truly believe I listen to my music full fucking volume
Blast.
every night
Yep.
in my headphones. Like I can't hear,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. No, I'm the exact same way. I'm like,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I can barely fucking understand what people are saying half the time. And yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. And so my mom will, like, there's been times where she'll, like, give me kind of a side glance, like, clearly being like, the, like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god, is
I
this
know the
girl
look.
for real?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you being fucking for real?
And so every time she ever gives me that look, if we're in a drive-through anyway, sometimes she'll give me a look when someone's doing something stupid. And I'll be like, yeah, no, you have a reason to be giving me this look. I agree with you. But like
Yeah.
in a drive-through, when like this person's getting paid minimum wage, like they are just trying to do their job. They misheard you. It happens, and I'm just kind of like, no, they're getting paid
Oh,
minimum
like
wage. Let's not do
like
that.
mistakes happen, you know?
Yeah,
Like if someone accidentally put an extra pump of something or in your coffee or like
yeah.
you did something wrong or gave you the wrong fucking cookie or something, like
Mm-hmm.
it happens, man. Like it's not
No.
something to get so like gutturally angry at.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Just ask them to fix it and they'll fix it and it'll be fine. The nicer you are, the better service you're gonna get.
That's the thing people don't seem to understand, especially in the service industry, like service and retail.
Yeah.
If you, the nicer you are, the easier this whole like situation will be. But also
Yeah.
like, the nicer you are, the easier that this like the solution just like the easier that we like resolve this problem.
Yeah. Like
Like
if
if
there's
you
no
come
need
in
to
throwing
raise
a
your fucking blood
fit,
pressure
yeah,
over over a
Raising
fucking
your blood pressure.
a coffee that's not made exactly to your liking. Like for
Yeah.
example, actually, I have a fun story about this. I used to work at Tim Hortons. It's a
Mhm.
rite of passage for all
Canadians.
Canadians. So what happens at Tim Hortons is we make our coffee. So we make a new pot every 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's kind of
We
like the
put
whole
times on them.
thing.
That's the
Yeah,
whole thing. We make a
you
pot
keep
every
it
fucking 20
fresh.
minutes. We keep it fresh as possible. There, like I there's
There's
probably
times where the
been
20
one.
minutes go over. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's like in like extreme rush hours,
No,
right? Like,
exactly.
but even then, it's not too over because we always have like backup batches that are
Yeah.
made, right?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So this guy came in. He asked for a small double double. So for like everyone else, a double double is a two cream, two sugar. Um, in your coffee, and so I was like, all right, cool, I'll make you your small double double. Here you go. And he puts his finger up like for me to wait.
He's like,
Takes a sip. He takes a sip. He's like, this is disgusting. Like, this is extremely old coffee. This has to be hours old. And I'm like, sir, this coffee is 20, not even 20 minutes old.
Yeah.
All right. Like, I have the time written on the coffee pot.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah.
And so I made it again because he was throwing a fit, right?
Yeah.
And I have to be the whole customer service nice
Yeah.
person thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it again, and he just got more pissed. He's like, this is even gross. This is more gross. And I took it from a different pot, by the way, a pot from the other side.
Yeah.
He's like, this is also disgusting, hours old. I'm like, okay, fine. I will get you a coffee from the pot that is behind me that just got brewed.
Yeah.
Literally, like like you could hear it as I was making the other orders.
Yeah.
So I went, made his third fucking double
Mm-hmm.
of the day
Mm-hmm.
from this fresh ass pot of coffee, gave it to him, and he started yelling. He started yelling, accusing me of lying, giving him disgusting old expired product.
What?
And I was like, sir, I don't know what to tell you here. I can't. There's not much I can do for you. Okay, like I made your coffee 3 times from 3 different pots,
Yeah.
including a real like hasn't even been brewed for 1 minute
Yeah.
pot of coffee.
Yeah.
We just have shit coffee. I didn't.
No,
say
exactly.
That,
yeah. No, but that's
Tim
just
Hortons
like,
went down the hill.
Yeah, like if you don't like the coffee, like if it hasn't, if
it's
3
just the
times
coffee,
not
man.
the charm, it's just the coffee. No, exactly. Let's
Like,
go somewhere else.
every time I go to Tim Hortons, the coffee's like that. I'm like, okay, so like, don't
said
you think that this is a pattern? Yeah, he's like, don't you?
my-
I'm like, I didn't say this, but I'm like, don't you think that's a pattern
Yeah.
you should recognize?
Maybe we
It's
should
just the
connect
coffee.
dots.
It's
Yeah.
not like everyone is making your coffee shitty. Every single person. It's just the coffee, man.
Shit. Oh god.
It's after, you know what? After fucking, I think it was like fucking Burger King. After an American company bought out Tim Hortons,
it went to shit.
All went to shit.
They
went to
sell
shit.
like fucking like pizza now. I've gotten ads for like this weird
they
pizza
do.
flatbread.
They do.
I'm
Well,
like, you
instead of
are a
improving
coffee
their
and
fucking
donut
menu,
shop.
The only thing that's worth it to me is either an iced coffee. Their iced coffee is not too bad.
Yeah,
That's what I usually get. The cold brew's not bad. And the farmer's wrap.
Okay, yeah. The farmer's wrap
You
is
have to get a
like
fucking
the
farmer's
only
wrap.
redeeming thing.
Sausage farmer's wrap.
Yes,
Sausage
the bacon
farmer's wrap. Not the bacon farmer's wrap.
Sausage.
I used to work in the kitchen. Don't get the bacon.
Okay, but to be fair, like
I'm joking, obviously, Tim Hortons.
Legally, this
For
is
legal
a joke.
reasons, I'm not being serious about the bacon.
No, but like, okay, I thought maybe this was like a neurodivergent thing, but like, I can't order bacon sandwiches from any fast food place because the bacon's just stringy as shit. It's
stringy,
gross.
it's thin, it smells disgusting. Also, another thing that I'm totally not being serious about at Tim Hortons is the grilled chicken. Don't get the grilled chicken. It's get the crispy chicken. Get the crispy chicken every time you get it. The grilled chicken, I'm telling you, when you make it, it smells like death.
It doesn't. Yeah,
it
does
smells
not
like
smell very
death.
good. The crispy chicken because like obviously they both
it's worth
are just
extra calories. I promise. It's worth. Yeah, but the crispy chicken is like they're like chicken tenders. They're chicken strips.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Strips.
I'm like everything is frozen and shipped in like box. Oh, excuse me, just the hiccups. Boxes and bags.
Except for the fucking the grilled chicken is like in like this weird bag and it's
it's in this
it.
weird like this weird plastic bag, and then when they cook it and put it in the tray and they keep it heated, it's weird. But like chicken tenders and like chicken nuggets, whatever, are like they're already like sold everywhere, frozen. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, we know what's in those.
Yeah. So, moral of the story: if you go to Tim Hortons, don't get the bacon. Don't get the grilled chicken.
Don't get the grilled chicken. By the way, also another thing, you know the sour cream glazed Timbit?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a fucking sour cream glaze. It's not. It's the same fucking glaze as every other fucking Timbit.
No,
it's the same
glaze.
When the Tim Biebs came out, the fucking Bieber balls.
Oh.
I was working there when that happened.
Bieber balls. Holy fuck.
The beaver balls.
The beaver balls.
It was just the base Timbits with the base fucking glaze and just extra shit on top.
Yeah.
Not worth the $2 extra for a 10-pack.
Are they bringing those back?
I hope not. It was fucking shit. The fucking coffee too. The fucking French vanilla iced coffee just tasted like coffee. They're not worth it.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not bringing it back.
Good.
Because the last article I see about it was in 2022, so I don't think
it's not worth it.
Yeah.
No, it was not worth it.
Oh my god, I love that we both worked at Tim Hortons, so we both have fucking like stories from it. No, because I remember like this. Oh god, this was a story that stood out to me. So when I was working at Tim Hortons, and this was probably like I think 2017 when I first started working there, so it's been a hot sec. So I don't know if this is still a thing, but like when we at my location, we were trained that like if you make someone an order and they come back and they complain and you have to remake it, we have these little mini coupons, which is basically like a free coffee. Just to kind of be like, sorry, here's a free coffee for when you come back. Because, just to make people bitch less, really. And so I had this lady come in. I think she either just got off work or something, but she was like dressed like kind of like businessy. And she came in, she was like, I want to smell decaf. And I was like, okay, great. And so I was like, it's going to take me a couple minutes. The decaf is brewing right now, but I'll get it to you when it's done. And she was like, okay, fine. So I don't know if this ever happened to you when you were working at Tim Hortons, but I don't know if it was something with the machine. I think it was probably something with the machine, but something happened and the brewed coffee didn't actually brew properly. And so water poured out and it brewed, but it brewed in the coffee grind cup that you like slide in and out and not in the actual thermos. And so I remember I called over my manager and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like there's no coffee. And then my manager pulled on the thing and a bunch of coffee spilled out because it pooled in there. Yeah. Luckily she didn't burn herself, but she was like, oh shit, okay, whatever. Like we're going to have to redo this. And this was like, it was like 9-10 p.m. Like, so we didn't have other decaf coffees going. And
also, like, I don't know how your location was, but, like, my location, we had, for decaf and for dark roast, we had 2 pots of each, and, one pair of those pots was supposed to be only for drive-through.
Yeah, and then one was for
we had one decaf pot and one decaf pot and one dark roast pot for the front of house. Yeah. So we don't have it, like, a huge quantity of it like we do our regular brewed coffee.
Yeah, because people don't get it as often as like the other stuff. Yeah. And so this was late at night, and so I think we only had the ones for front of, or no, maybe we had some for drive-through going, but like usually we're not supposed to take from drive-through just because obviously they get priority because it's supposed to be like fast turnaround. And so I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, like the coffee fucked up when brewing and it's going to be another 4 minutes. And so she starts getting really pissy and she starts yelling at me. And I was like, I'm really sorry. Like I was not expecting this. I don't know what happened. It didn't brew properly. Nothing brewed in the cup. And even if, or in the thermos thing, but even if it did brew in the thermos thing, like it was full of coffee grinds. Like there was coffee grinds all in it. And that makes the coffee like that's gross.
That's the worst fucking shit when there's fucking coffee grinds and then you have to make a whole fresh new pot. Thing.
Yeah. It was, ugh. And so I was like, even if it did brew properly, if there would have been coffee grinds all in it, I wouldn't have been able to serve it to you. And she starts freaking out. And so she was like, I want to talk to your manager. And I was like, okay. So I go grab my manager. She comes over. She's trying to calm the lady down. She's like, hey, like, I'm sorry, but like, it's going to take a couple minutes. Like to brew a full pot of decaf coffee was about like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Like it takes a bit. And so she's like, it's going to be a bit. And so then my manager, and so the lady's like still yelling at her as she's explaining this. And so my manager was going to the cash to grab one of those coupons to give it to her to be like, hey, like you can use this for next time. And as she does this, the lady like screams like her last remark. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was something about being like, you guys are shitty or whatever. Flips us the bird and then fucking storms out of the store. And this was over a coffee that's worth $1.50.
Yeah, people are doing too much out here.
Yeah, I'm like, that is so much effort to give to minimum wage workers over a coffee that cost you like your pocket change. Like what?
Yeah.
What? And
I remember. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
no, I was just gonna say like after I worked at Tim Hortons, the next jobs I worked were in a kitchen because I wouldn't have to deal with customers.
Yeah.
What were you
Well,
gonna
I
say?
mean, see, that's part of the reason why I also worked in the kitchen at Tim Hortons. But the thing I didn't
Yeah.
fucking realize, I don't know if it was just my fucking location. Don't do this. This has to be illegal or something, right? They had, you know how like McDonald's and shit have like they have like multiple people working in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
My Tim Hortons did not. One person doing all of the food prep, I didn't even get a break. Like I would
Well,
have
see,
like
that's
the
illegal.
other
Yeah.
yeah, so like I would talk to the bakers that were training me. They're like, yeah, most of the days we don't like we maybe get one break, and I'm like, are you fucking shitting
Shit.
me?
Yeah.
This has to be illegal. Like this cannot be.
No, like
And then they get mad at you if you try to take a break
which
during that
that
time,
yeah, that's
which
illegal.
fucked up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the other thing that I was gonna say before was I remember when I first started working there and I was training, and obviously you train on the job, right?
Yeah.
Like someone's there, they're telling you how to do stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this lady ordered a drink. I didn't even know that Tim Hortons had this drink. So I was like, okay, I don't. All right, I need help. So I had someone who's training me who's like, okay, so this is what you have to do. This is what you put in. Like they were walking me through it. This lady, oh my god, she starts screaming. She's like, you should already fucking know how to do this shit. Like you're wasting my time.
Whoa! What
You're
the?
wasting my time, and like so I'm forced to wait because you don't know how to do your job. And I'm like, ma'am, this is like my second
Good
day.
shit. Yeah.
I am still training. I don't
Rating.
know how to make this drink. Do you want me to make you a drink that I don't know how to make?
Yeah.
Like, oh fucking god.
Yeah.
I hate the food industry so much.
I will never. I hate the whole.
I never want to
like,
go back.
fair, honestly, fair. No, because I hate the whole like the customer's right, which is like
No,
no,
they're not.
no. I
Fuck
remember
you.
there was one time
That's some boomer ideology.
100%. But I remember like one time. I think it was when I was. Was it no? It was when I was working at my last retail job. Because right now I work at Home Depot, but before I worked with a company named Torrid, and I remember I think it was then. But I remember like I was at the cash and this lady was like waiting in line and it was getting kind of late to close and we're trying to like finish up. And I remember this lady like leaned over to her husband and she was like, they can't kick us out. It's customer's word over the worker's word. And I was like,
That's
oh.
not true.
And I remember like, and this is the shitty thing because I remember my manager and I like exchanged a look. But like my managers, like it all depends on the managers. Because sometimes I had managers like at certain places who did not put up with that. They're like, oh, you want to bet? Like I can show you like how this place is run. But then some managers that you will run into your life don't have a backbone with customers. And they will just let them do whatever they want because they're like, oh, like, I'm so sorry.
They're
this
also
happened.
the managers that are like, they're also the managers that are like the worst to their fucking employees.
Yeah, they're so strict with their employees, but then don't enforce any rules in terms of how the like customers and like returns and shit like that. And I'm like, really? Like, really? What is happening here? But I remember like looking over at my manager. We're both like, oh, she did not just say that right now. Like, there is no way. She just was like, yeah, like we can do whatever we want because it's custom. It's like, no, actually, it's not.
That's so fucking stupid, man.
Yeah. And I remember that happened at like one of the restaurants I worked at too. Someone was like, oh, well, they can't kick us out because like it's customer's word. And then my manager was like,
yeah,
it's like 10 minutes to close. I'm not going to let you order a full fucking meal. Like what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, but no, oh my god, the amount of like crazy ass stories. It's always like fast food, like Tim Hortons, McDonald's, like shit like that, like drive-through fast food, where you get like the craziest stories because people like. I've noticed that when you work at restaurants where the food is higher end and a bit more expensive, people will still be picky because obviously they're paying a decent amount for their food, but they're usually like more pleasant about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
cheap
It's
food?
because, you know what? It's because people because they're like, oh, this is fast food and they're working minimum wage and they're not like I feel like they have this like thought that like they're not really like people almost.
Yeah, they have like this
Like
mentality that they're above
they're
them.
like they're better than you, like
Yeah,
you're lower than me, so I'm allowed to treat you like shit.
yeah. Which also,
Fuck you.
like, I hate the whole, like, things that parents do where it's like, you don't want to end up like these people. And I'm like,
Which
hey!
they're making a living, man. They're doing what they can.
Or they're trying
Shut the
to
fuck up.
anyway.
They're
Yeah,
trying to.
but that's the thing. Like for example, like I know a lot of people whose parents are like what's the word? It's not refugees. What's the word? Immigrants, thank you. Who are immigrants that came to Canada to start a better life, but they had like a whole ass life prior. Like they like one of my friends' moms was like a psychologist in their home country. And when you come to Canada, unfortunately, that same
yeah, it doesn't transfer
it
over
doesn't
here.
transfer over. Which I'm like,
Which
I
is
feel
bullshit.
yeah, I'm like, if anything, there should be like an exam people can take to see what level they're at, and then if they're not at the right level, their schooling should be paid for, because we have such like there's such like a shortage of especially like doctors, for example.
Yeah,
That I'm like,
especially now, like we have such a shortage of nurses and doctors right now. It's affecting the whole medical system, the
yeah,
healthcare system. So, but I think that's actually going to change now. I think they're starting. I think they're saying that they're going to try to
like
for
figure
people
out a
who are
way. Yeah,
like for people who are coming over who already have their degrees in different countries can
yeah.
now come over and start practicing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like I had this conversation with my roommates, and I was like, I understand, like, because there are different practices in different countries, so I understand that it might not be transferable, but like they shouldn't have to go through another 8 years of schooling of shit that they've already known with money they don't have. Like what?
Yeah.
And so like I know so many people who were working minimum wage jobs, multiple minimum wage jobs, who are in like their 40s and 50s because they immigrated here and they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice. And so that's why I'm like, I hate when parents are like, you don't want to end up like them working a minimum wage job. And I'm like, some people do it because they didn't have any other plans and that's what they went for and they're okay with that and they're living their best life. But like some people don't have a choice. And I'm like, I hate that like fast food and like the service industry had like customers have
or garbage people or like or really anything that's like considered socially lower class.
Yeah. I'm like, there's no need for that. Like, you are here to get clothes. Why are you treating me like I'm like the gum on the bottom of your shoe?
A simple conversation like a normal fucking human being would have solved all of these issues instead of you yelling at me trying to get you fucking, I don't know, fucking
like a pair of jeans. Yeah. But yeah, like on a happier note though, like yesterday I had this interaction with this older lady when she's like that wanted to get paint, and she was the nicest fucking lady I've ever met. She was so sweet. Like yeah, because and that's the thing, like service and food, you deal with a lot of shitty people because they think they're better than you, but like there are some good ones. And like this lady yesterday, she came up and she was so excited. She was like, I want to get this paint again. And English wasn't our first language, and I always feel so bad, but like sometimes with accents I have a really hard time understanding what people are saying, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like if I could speak your native tongue I would speak to you in your native tongue, but I am a stupid white person. I can only speak English and French. I'm so sorry. And so English wasn't her first language, so there was some times where I had to ask her to repeat herself. But like she was painting her fence, and she was painting her fence like it was like a bright kind of like bluish green color, and it looked really cute. Nice. And so she came back to get more paint, and then she wanted to get paint for the floors too. And the whole time she was talking to me, and she was like super like appreciative. And then after I gave her paint, she was like, "It was so nice talking to you." And I was like, "Ah!"
I love people like that make shit worth it.
No, exactly. And then, so where I work, like at the paint desk, the self checkout is directly behind it. So she went to the self checkout, checked out, and then I noticed that she turned around and was looking for me because I went down an aisle and I was coming back up as she was leaving. And so I raised my hand and waved at her, and she spotted me and she was like, "Have a good night," and she waved goodbye. And I was like, "Ah!
I love that.
You're gonna kill me." She was so sweet.
That's so cute. I love that.
Know. And that's the thing, like, that's why it's like that's why I always say, like, there's no need to be rude to, like, to workers, because that lady came in and was sweet and treated me as, like, an equal. And now I'm like, and it's been a day and I'm still like, look at how sweet this, like, there's no need to be rude to people.
I could never imagine being, like, just a dickhead to someone like that.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm trying to get help.
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly.
It's not making it easy for anybody. You're just
you're
being a dick for no fucking reason.
No, exactly. Like, I'm coming here and I'm going to this person for help. Like, why would I be a dick? And that's why, like, I always say, I'm like, if I meet someone and they've never worked in, like, the food or service industry, you can tell. You can tell with how they treat people, because, like, there's been so many times, like, especially when I've gone to, like, restaurants with friends, like, I remember vividly, I went to this really, like, popular bar this was maybe 2 summers ago with my friends, and the guy, like, the host had just had a really shitty experience with this group of girls that were giving him a hard time because there was a wait list for tables. And so he was like, "Hey, like, it's going to be a bit." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." He was like, "Thank you for understanding." I'm like, "Hey, man, I've worked in the restaurant industry. I get it.
Yeah,
like,
I get
this is out of your control. You can't do anything about this. Like, I'm not going to throw a fit because it's busy. Like, I can see that there's groups of people all around me." Like, and so that's why I'm like, if someone hasn't worked in the food and service industry, you can see it because they don't have the empathy for the workers that people who have worked in it do.
There are rare instances where people who have worked in the service industry who do end up being assholes.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think anyone who's worked in retail or food just fucking knows. Like,
yeah.
Like, they just shit happens, and, like, it's out of your control most of the time, and, like, even if you did make a mistake, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. You're human.
Yeah.
No one is perfect, bro.
No, exactly. And how are you supposed to learn if you don't make mistakes, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
How are you supposed to improve if you just don't make mistakes? And that's the thing, like, every time I go through a drive-thru, like, there's a McDonald's right by my work, and every time I go through the drive-thru and I go in, I'm always like, "Have a great day, thank you," like, because I'm like, I know that they're dealing with shitty things.
They're dealing with shit people who don't say thank you or please or anything, and I'm like, that's stupid. You deserve a thank you for doing this. Like,
yeah, and the amount of people at Home Depot who will order, like, huge 5-gallon pails of paint, and I will be lifting it into their cart and giving them everything, and they'll just walk away without saying thanks. I'm like, I always look at them, I'm like, "You're welcome, motherfucker." Like, okay, fuck you. Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm gonna stab holes in your paint.
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna throw some black tint to make it the wrong color, motherfucker. But yeah, man, service and food industry is wild. I love that we went from, like, funny
travel
to like, fuck the food service industry.
No, but seriously, like, the food industry is the worst industry to go into.
It is,
hands down.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like depending on where you're working, like, depending if it's managed well, it can be decent. Like, I'm not, like, there obviously, like, also, like, higher end the restaurant usually it's a bit better, but, like, that's the thing. Like, if you have a manager who actually cares about their employees and protects them like managers should, then it's not horrible. Because if you deal with a shitty customer, your managers, if they're like that, they will probably, like, help you and be like, "Hey, whoa, dude, like, I'm not gonna let you talk to my fucking employee this way. Back off." But then when you work in a food and service industry and your managers aren't like that, it's shit.
Which is so stupid because, like, if you have a good relationship with your employees and you show your employees that, like, yeah, it's worth working here because I am trying to make a safe environment for you,
Yeah.
you know, and not letting people walk
Walk
all
all over
over my
you.
employees.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like you're just gonna have a better time. You're gonna have employees that work. That's why, like, fast food places have, like, the biggest fucking
Turnaround.
turnovers.
Yeah.
Like no, and like people quit all the fucking time because A, the managers are horrible fucking people. Two, the people that they have to deal with are shit, and
Yeah.
they don't get paid enough for that.
Yeah. And it
Why is it so difficult to treat your employees like human beings
no,
and not like
exactly.
your fucking pawns?
Yeah, and like that's the thing, cause like I one of my first kitchen job, I worked there for almost 3 years. I really enjoyed it. COVID hit,
Mhm.
shit got really bad, and then the
Yeah,
managers realized that they could get away with less employees
yeah,
doing the same amount of work as before COVID. And so,
mhm.
and the entire kitchen staff, except for maybe like 5 or 6 people, left. Like,
That's
there
fucked.
was a complete, like, the kitchen staff cycled through a whole new kitchen staff because everyone was so fed up that everyone left. And like I
Yeah,
remember even my kitchen manager ended up leaving because he was getting in trouble with from his bosses over the amount of people that were leaving. And so that's why I'm like,
wow,
there's some people who are managers that just shouldn't be. They really
yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
they really should. You need a level of empathy and a level of like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you stop
Just
being dickheads.
yeah.
Just stop. Just treat your employees properly, and then everything will be smooth sailing.
Yeah, exactly. The moral of this episode of the podcast is be nice to people.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a
Don't be a
dick.
dick.
Don't
Be
be a
nice.
dick.
Do something nice today. Tell someone
There you
thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell someone that you hope they have a great day. And they'll remember
yeah.
it. If they don't,
I hope you have a
they
great day,
might not.
Sam.
I hope you have a great day, Sam. And with that, we're ending the episode there.
Yeah.
Yeah, positivity.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all so much to everyone who tuned into this episode, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye.